Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. First of all, I'm going to explain some of the new features that we've released on Rating the Races. So this is for premium members, premium and pro members. So if you are a free member watching this, you may want to skip all of this, or you may want to watch this and see what you're missing out on by not being a premium and pro member. So we'll go through some of the changes and then we'll do some analysis. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the Curragh card and see what I can pick out looking at the Curragh card. So actually, if you stay on here, you will actually see the ratings, because I'm also going to have the ratings visible for Curragh. So first of all, let's go through some of the changes that we've made to Rating the Races. So first of all, we have the Back to Today button. And if I click that, it takes me back to today. I've got a couple of pop-ups here. I'm going to change these slightly because I don't want them always coming up. Tomorrow's ratings are available. Great. Don't need to tell me every time I come to this page. Still time to enter your naps. I've already entered mine, so why are you telling me that? So there's, this is all feedback that I would like you, the members, to be telling me as well. So we'll get that changed. As you can see, I can very quickly go to the next race that's due to start, which is the 3:30. It is 3:19. Let me just go back a race. Indeed, the 3:18 should have already jumped off because it is 3:19. So this next race off is quite a cool little feature. And we've also got that on the dashboard itself. If you come onto the dashboard, next race, this will keep updating. So we've then got the ability to see tomorrow's races. That button only appears when tomorrow's races are available. So what have we got on the actual ratings themselves? Well, let's go back to the 145 and we'll have a look. So first of all, I have changed the rows so that naps are nicely in here. You can see them in a row. Great, they're my nap 1. You can see that the win odds and place odds are now different colours. What that means is the win odds for Fashion Fancy meant last time, from the history that we've got of that horse, her odds were shortening from 1.91 to 1.9 on the last changing odds that we had. And you can actually see the history if you hover over it. So you can see that Fashion's Fancy was quite strong throughout the day, 2.64 down to 1.9, and she was a good winner in the end. Similarly, you can do that for the placed odds. You can see that she was available at about 1.42 on the place exchange. That's when the market formed on the place market. And she did reduce or shorten down to 1.31 at the off, and as we know, she won and won quite nicely. Also on here, you'll see the ratings guide, which will help you understand some of the columns. If you click on that, it will take you to a page that breaks down all of the different columns that we have, because lots of people get confused what they mean. We've also got an explanation as to what these mean. When you click on it, it will explain. So these stats that you now see are based on places only. So in the last 7 days, Charlie Appleby has had 62.5% of his runners run into the places. If we change that back to the win, you'll see it reduces to 50, because obviously only 50% have won. And if I change it to WP, we've spoken to a few members this week that have been telling me that they really like this. It helps them find horses that are going to run on into places, because this is based on, let me just read that out to you. These stats are based on the average win price reduction in running for each specific stat. So let's go back to win stats, because these are the ones that we want to focus on. Also added the ability to add an AGME here. Okay, we've already got the ability to add an AGME here, but you want to add an AGME for a horse that hasn't run for 3 weeks ago that you've just remembered, or you heard about it in a video you was watching, or you heard about it watching the racing. They said X horse beat this horse last time out, probably needs to be added to your AGME. You may want to do that. Let's add one that I actually know of. Let's add a horse that runs tomorrow. No, we won't. We'll add a random horse called City House, who has a form line with a horse that runs tomorrow. You can add that horse exactly how you normally would and click Create AGME. You can also add AGMEs here, which is exactly the same as it was. Very impressive, winning on second start. Let's create the NAGMI, and you'll notice it's now very visible that that horse is in your NAGMI. We've made this pencil icon go red. It's now very visible. Another thing that I've just noticed, when I hover over it, it goes green. It shouldn't do that. I'll get that fixed. And if I come into here, I can either update it or I can remove it. Let's remove that one because I don't want it. NAGMI has been removed. What else have we added? We've added this little note at the moment, hover over the stats to see the AE data. We will change that. That's just because we had a few members saying, where is the AE data? Hover over the stats and you can see it. I will make that much clearer for you. But as I said, I'm working on this and I'm more than happy to listen to feedback from you guys. Unlike a few services that have recently made changes, we do want to hear your feedback and we will listen to that feedback and make changes accordingly. A couple of new features that we've added for different people. The ability to find a horse. I want to find Majbra. There he is. And it will take me to Majbra's form page. And now maybe I want to add that horse as my NAGMI via here. Let's just go back. And also, I can use the calendar option now to navigate to a certain day that I want to have a look at. What was happening on the 15th of January. There was a race that I was very interested in. It will now take me to those races. And interestingly, the page I jump on, you can see there are a couple of NAGMIs. Who's Glen and Maid All. Anyway, back to today. So this is today. What else have I not shown you yet? Okay, next thing. Let's go to our dashboard. Dashboard has been massively updated. So as I've mentioned, you've got the next race off. And I've also added your NAGMIs at the top. And you can see them here. So these are my NAGMIs for tomorrow. This is my NAGMI for today. Hopefully New York State of Mind can prove that I was right when he was very unlucky or eye-catching behind a top-rated winner last time out. These are my NAGMIs for tomorrow. You can see the form since. So a good couple of winners there for Partisan Hero. A win there for Valedictory. Just the one for Hip Hop du Loire. 3 consecutive pulled ups, they were disappointing. Headmasters won a couple of times, we'll come on to that. And you can see that Leadman actually hasn't had a run, nor has Montesip. And they could well be selections tomorrow. We've also got the leaderboards for the NAP competitions. You can click on them and have a look. And these are updating. We don't actually have results at the moment for today. The source isn't updating, so we can't do anything about that. As soon as we get the final XSPs, we will be able to update those. A little bit further down, we've got your NAPs, if you've submitted your NAPs, and we've also got the NAP comp most selected. Now, if you only see this after you've made your NAPs. That's crucial, because we don't want people just copying everybody. That's not what the idea of this is. Submit your NAPs, but then you may find that one of yours is very heavily napped. Lots of people have jumped on it. And, a prime example here could be Fashion's Fancy. Everybody was supporting this one. 11 selections in the NAP competition, and she did win, and she won quite cosily in the end, really. You've then got your NAP stats, which has always been there, where you can filter down by actually going into your detailed stats. Similarly with your selections and your NAGMIs, and you can find out how you're doing. Movers and shakers, what's this? This is market movers. So we can see the top 15 steamers and the top 15 drifters. So some of these are drifting. Havana's Dream was as short as 4.4, now out to 80s. Probably these aren't really, that's not a really reflective one, but this one certainly could have been. Oasis Sunrise looks a massive drifter. As does Auntie Lacey. You always have to be careful with drifters because the markets aren't always formed. Horses are really low prices, deliberately trying to get people to put money on them when they're never going to actually be that price. And then when the market forms properly, they become a bigger price, and that slightly skews this. So take these with a pinch of salt, some of these. And then we've got at the bottom here, last time out stats. So this is top rated winners. All of these horses were top rated winners last time out. And we can also see how they appear on our ratings this time. So 3 of them are top rated again. Silver Wraith, Eutropia and Ice Jet. We can see that 3 of them are now 3rd on the ratings, Lady Yumzane, Blue Topaz and Powerful Response, whilst Danehill Star clearly must be in a much harder race, because last time out he won and he was top rated, and yet this time he's still only 5th on the ratings. Let's just load those 2 races up. As we can see, Danehill Star was top rated, went off 6 to 5, and yet this time is significantly, it's just a harder race, isn't it? Not massively. That was a seller, this is now a handicap, but maybe up against it this time. But sometimes you can spot horses that were top rated last time, they won, they're top rated again, and you really like them. We've then got this column here, or this page here, most selected winners. So what this means is we're looking at the horses that were most selected in the NAP competition that did go on to win. So Silver Wraith was selected 5 times in the NAP competition. Sibling Rivalry was selected 4 times. Let's have a look at these. Danehill Star, as we've just mentioned, and Eutropia was 4 times. And if we have a look, let's just close down some of these that we don't have anymore. Silver Wraith was selected 5 times and won. Sibling Rivalry was selected 4 times and won. And Eutropia was selected 4 times and won. And what that means is this time, are they, worth looking at again? This is a very interesting one, because this next tab is most selected in an app competition that didn't win. So we can see Hartem, Enfajar, Stoneacre Joe. Let's just go through a few of these, and between the sticks. Hartem was selected 9 times in the NAP competition and only finished 6th. As we can see here, it was 9 times, finished 6th. Top rated, actually won it that day. Why was he selected so many times? And is today going to be an easier race for him? That would be the kind of angles you could look at here. He was really well supported, both in the market and on in the NAP competition, and yet he didn't perform up to scratch. Might he this time? Very possibly. We've also got to remember that was actually before his break. This is his first run back. Maybe he's going to need this one as well. So that's an interesting one. A little most selected didn't win. And then I've also got this one here, selected by me. And interestingly, there are no horses running today that were selected by me in the NAP competition. This would show your ones, not mine. This would show your selections. But if we click tomorrow, there's a load of them. All of these were selected in the NAP competition last time out by me. Cool Molly was my 3rd best. Keep de Board was my 3rd best. Belle Legrand was my NAP. Was one of my only 2 winners that were actually from those that ran. But it might give me an idea as to who I want to select again tomorrow. I'm sure I've missed loads of things. You can easily navigate to the NAPs, your NAGMEs. I'm sure there are things I must have missed. But right now, let's move on to actually talk about tomorrow at the Curragh. And we'll go through and see if we can find some winners. And I'll explain my kind of process for using the rating. So first of all, we're going to go to the Curragh. I don't want all of the races, I just want the 120 to start. No, not interested in that. Don't like really maidens. Let's move on to the 155. Okay, 155 is a 1 mile 4 listed race at the Curragh. Dermot Weld. Interesting. So I'm going to do something here. Let's go to our pro stats. And let's go to the Curragh. And let's choose May, as this is the month. And I want a group by trainer. This is for pro members only, so if you're a free member, you're getting a massive bonus here. And if you're a premium member, this is what you're missing out on. I'm going to go to trainer. Interesting. So let's sort it. Yeah, like that, like that. William Haggis is interesting. 1 from 2 is not really interesting. 5 from 11, Dermot Weld. Interesting. 4 from 9. 5 from 12. 2 from 5. And 38 from 98. That's Aidan O'Brien. Yeah, we're going to add all of these to this filter. So I then go up to here and click rows to filters. And it's now selected all of those, and you can actually see that there's 3 qualifiers tomorrow. That if I made this into a system, this isn't a system as such, but it might give me an idea as to a few winners tomorrow. If I refresh this page now, you will notice that Purview has been selected because it's trained by Dermot Weld. If we go back to this, Dermot Weld was 5 from 11 with top rated runners in May. It looks progressive anyway. The R figures aren't that far off being the best in the race either. Still a colt. You know, they haven't gelded him. Purview. Well, what was he doing? Let's have a look. See if we can have a look at this horse. He's very interesting, to be honest. Last time out, he was top rated at Cork over 1 mile and 2 in a listed race. What's this now? Still a listed race. It's not a harder race. Was beating Curragh for Joseph O'Brien. Joseph looks like he's trying to throw a few out here. I think Purview is going to be the one to beat here. He's come out top rated. Dermot Weld has a good record here. He's still a colt. He hasn't been gelded. They could have done. They're stepping him up now to 1.5 miles. Having started over 1 mile. Yeah, I think this is really going to suit him, this trip. He's by Kingman. There's lots of positives. Good R figure, course stats for the jockey. The only negative would be Dermot Weld's recent record, but 2 of the 4 have placed. And we know that he likes the Curragh. He's probably targeting coming back here. I think Purview is going to take... I think he's the one to beat here. Let's load up the odds and have a look. So it's Saturday, the 155 of the Curragh. Yeah, unsurprising. 11-4 favourite. I do think it's the horse to beat. I really do. I'm quite encouraged to see the 2nd and 3rd favourites, Shally Shoot and Naira, are similarly Naira 216 days, Shally Shoot 202 days, and not right at the top of the ratings. So the dangers are not at the top of the ratings. I really trust our ratings. The dangers are also having their first run of the season. The dangers based on the market, that is. I think there's plenty of positives about Purview, and he is going to be my first selection of the day tomorrow in the listed race at Curragh over 1.5 miles. That's Purview at 11-4, stroke 5-2. Let's move on to the next race, the 2:30. Anything catches my eye here. Ooh. This trainer has... Let's have a look at his record with horses that have just moved to him. Pretty good. Look at that. 1.48 AE. These two are very interesting. Let's also have a look at what Natalia's like. She's pretty good as well with horses that have just moved to her. This is... It looks progressive. Look, 136, 137, 142, 141. She looks progressive. Does she need the run? I'm not sure. Could be interesting. I want to come back to this race because I want to look into this horse a little bit more. Let's move on to the 305 to... Oh, okay. The 305 is the Greenland Stakes, a 6 furlong race where I have a Nagme who was also my next best last time out. So Montasib was my next best. Let's load up his form. He was a Nagme. See now, there's a little change that I'm going to make. When you hover over this, it doesn't go back to green, but also it shows you the details. These details. It shows you this. I want to know what the notes were and when it was, and also if it's had any runs since I added it to the Nagme. I can see that given far too much to do on the first run of the season. I think that was last time out. In actual fact, I know that was. If I go back to my dashboard, where's tomorrow's gone? Here they are. Montasib, it is indeed. I added it on the 28th of March. So, Montasib was eye-catching. What did I say? Given too much to do. Given too much to do. William Haggas is pretty good here. Let's just have a look. We can see he's got a nice green line here. He won't send anything over. Billy Loughnane, this is actually his first ride at the track, or his first time to the track. I can understand why Billy's been booked. He's obviously a very good jockey. It's a Group 2. Does have some form. I quite like Montasib. I've always been a big fan of Montasib. I totally get this angle. Quite high on the ratings. Let's have a look at his last time out. Pretty well selected. 6 times he was napped. Went off 11-4. Was expected to run a big race on his return. Yes, it's a harder race. He's gone up from a listed to a Group 2, but he should step forward from that run. And I said there was reasons, given far too much to do. I don't think he's going to do that this time. Billy rides. Who rode it last time? Kieran Fallon rode last time. Billy Loughnane takes over. I think Montasib is going to be my bet in this race in the 305. You know, if they all run to their best, only Bacano Fuerta could beat this horse, albeit that was at the Curragh. It was a very good effort. But I think Montasib has some really nice form, and that last time out effort really caught my eye. Let's have a look at what price he is. 305. Montasib is not near the... Yeah, 13-2. I thought he might be nearly favourite, to be honest, on the back of that very eye-catching run. He's going to be my selection in the 305. That's Montasib under Billy Loughnane at 13-2. If I just go back to here, William Haggas is 1 from 1 with top rated. Oh, okay, he's not top rated. Let's remove the top rated. 3 from 11 at the track. Pretty good. No issues there. Let's have a look. Interesting. Last time they sent a horse over was in 2024. They didn't send anything in 2025 in May. Possibly didn't feel like they had anything. This year they do. They feel it's worthwhile coming over. So Montasib is my selection in that second, or the 305 at the Curragh. Moving on to the 340, Gustard I think will win the Irish 2000. Very unlucky, or not unlucky, beaten by a very, very good horse at Newmarket. Should make amends here. I don't really think there's much to discuss there. Was Manap last time. Isn't going to be Manap this time because he's going to be too short, isn't he? He's going to be a real short price. What is he? 1-2. Yeah. He should win this though. Let's move on. Let's go to the 415. Causeway. Okay, Causeway's made this all have been selected because it's an Aidan O'Brien horse, who we know has a good record with top rated at the Curragh. Looks to be improving, has had a run. The biggest danger is supposedly a filly. The colt will beat the filly. No reasons to take on Causeway. Clear top rated on our ratings. Above evens? Yes. Wow. Didn't think it would be. 5-4. Pretty happy with that. That will be a selection for sure. Lots to like, as I said. Improving. Going the right way. Huge R figure last time out when winning at the Curragh. Steps up in trip. Colt, biggest danger is meant to be a filly. Won't get beat by the filly, I don't think. And Aidan O'Brien knows, Ryan Moore knows which one is the best of those two. Yeah, I think Causeway is actually a good price at 5-4. I thought he would be a bit shorter than that. Let's move on. 450, so we've got a few there. 450, the Curragh. So it's a handicap, and I actually really like horses that have never won going into a handicap. I do like that. And interestingly, Zenford certainly catches the eye. Just want to... When was he gelded? We can see that he's been gelded. Started his career as a gelding. They went straight to gelding the horse. Let's have a little look. I'm going to use my other screen at the moment just to check something out. 450. Ooh. Look at the name of this race. The North Standard Handicap. 7 furlongs, 450 at the Curragh. Let me show you something. Ice Ford. Hadn't won. Had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runs. Was a gelding. 3-year-old gelding. And was winning his first run at the Curragh. That was breaking his maiden tag. In the 5:25, the 7 furlong handicap at the Curragh as top rated. It's almost identical. If you want a trainer pattern there, surely that is it. They are coming back. The trainer. What about the jockey? Let's have a look. Johnny Murtagh, Ben Cohen Road. Rory Mulligan this time. That's fine. Still a maiden. Gelded. 7 furlong handicap at the Curragh. In actual fact, it was this race. You can see it was this race last year that they won. With a horse called Iceford. This year they're coming back with Zenford. I mean, that's a bet for me. What price is he? No prices yet. Any forecasts? Whoa! Nah, he's never going to be that. What did they win last year? Iceford went off 5s. If we can get anywhere near that, 7-2 or bigger, Zenford is a strong fancy for us tomorrow. Really like that angle. Everything marries exactly what happened last year. So Zenford is a selection at the Curragh. Let's move on to the 5:25, a 6 furlong handicap. What have we got here? We've got 1 Nagme in Headmaster. Chased home a Hamdam horse on debut. Being weak in the market, looked likely to improve. Beat Judman horse's smart form. So that was actually back on 29th of May 2025, which was this run here. 29th of May 2025. Then finished second, then went and won, and has won again at Newbury. And then got beat at Naas in April. I wonder if this horse has recently moved. Headmaster. Ah, Headmaster, yes. Formerly trained by William Haggis, now with Edward Lynham. Now, that looks like a fitness run last time, doesn't it? Drops from 7 and a mile down to short of 6. Going to go back up to 6 now. That looked like a fitness run. Now running in a feature handicap. Interesting. Just going to have a look on my other screen. So last year's winner I know actually runs in this race. Maltafino. Let's have a little look at Maltafino. Hasn't won again since. Was winning at the Curragh. Having had a fitness run at Naas. Naas, 5 furlong, 205. What was Headmaster running over? Naas, 5 furlong, 205. So it actually comes from the same race that Maltafino ran in last year to go on to win it. Interesting. This is the race here. Maltafino was winning it. Huh? And Edward Lynham had a horse finish second in Kiki. He also had 4th. And he had 8th. Clearly trying to win that race. What's he got this year? Much bigger field this year, isn't it? Where is it? There's Edward Lynham. He's only sending the 1 runner this year. Very interesting. What did he do in that prep run? Finished 7th. Behind Kiki. Ha! Wow. I mean, again, if there's form lines and angles to go for here, Kiki went from finishing second in this... Kiki finished second in the race at the Curragh tomorrow, last year. Kiki has won the prep race that Maltafino got beaten last year. Also in that prep race this year was Headmaster, who is the only representative for Edward Lynham this year, who had 3 last year run. I think this is going to be a bet. I really like this. There's lots of positives here. Who's he got riding? Dylan McGolo, sorry. That one. Really well bred. Second time. I've obviously left him in my Nagme for a reason. I'm just going to go and watch his replay of that race last time out. Very interesting. Watch the replay. I thought eye-catching. I thought was coming there to run a decent race, probably going to finish 3rd or 4th, and the jockey, Chris Hayes, definitely gave up. Did not want to get too close. They were already winning the race. Look at that, and Heavenly Power came from that race last year as well, finishing 4th. And Heavenly Power was running in this race again, probably having a prep run. Is Heavenly Power going anywhere? Or has it come out since? Let's have a look. Obviously got a lot of runs, so just wait for this horse to load. It's that race. Then went to finish 2nd. Didn't go on and win next time, but did finish a good 2nd. I think Edward Lynham knows what he's doing with these races. I think he knows what he's doing with this horse. A Headmaster is going to be a selection there. In the 525, let's have a look at the forecast odds, because there are no current odds. We're going to get a price about this one, I'm sure. 16s. I would like anything about... What did they win? What sort of prices were their horses going off last year? 9-2. 9-1 and 12-1. If we can get about 8-1, I think Headmaster is worth a bet in this race. The 525 at the Curragh. And let's have a look at the 555. It is a maiden, probably not going to get involved there. Did say I will go back to the 230, so let's go back to this 230. And we'll go through it together. I'm liking Perfect Your Craft on the basis that she's improving, and she's now moved to Mr. Twomey, who has a good record with horses first time up. Where has that horse come from? Let's also look at his other one, Duressa. Both having the first runs of the season. Perfect Your Craft has come from Rafe Beckett. Dropped slightly in trip. What did that run in last time? A listed race. So they fancied Perfect Your Craft to be a listed horse. She didn't quite live up to that, and now has moved to Mr. Twomey. I do get the angle. Obviously we don't have... We could have last year's winner in it. Who was last year's winner? I'm just having a look. Last year's winner is actually down here. A Pursue. Let's have a little look at a Pursue. Winning at the Curragh. Johnny Murta probably thought he had a good chance last year. He's got a couple this year coming over. Fixation and Retracement, who was actually 5th way back here. Did eventually get a win a couple of runs later back at the Curragh over a mile and 2. They're probably going to be up against it this year. First run back, didn't win it last year, and it's going to be higher in the ratings this year. Nothing is jumping out at me to put me on anything else except Perfect Your Craft, who probably is marginally dropping in class. Let's have a look at Duressa. Where's Duressa come from? Dermot World. Now, I actually like Dermot World as a trainer. I don't think there's much of a difference between Dermot World and Mr. Twomey, but I do feel that there's a progression going from Rafe Beckett to Patrick Twomey. I think it's Patrick Paddy, I think they call him, obviously being Irish. Nice draw in 1. Horse goes well. Those stats are very, very eye-catching. We can see that he's got a real good hand in this race. He's got 3 with good chances, 2 on their first runs. I don't feel Duressa has as much improvement to come, though, as I do feel that Perfect Your Craft probably does. Let's have a look at the prices. That's always something to look at as well. You should always look at the prices, really, because if that doesn't help, does it? You know, if we could be looking at those and going, which one, and Duressa is the 5-4 favourite and Perfect Your Craft for 25-1. That's an exaggeration. They're not going to be that, but obviously you would go for Perfect Your Craft there. I'm probably going to, let's have a little look at these forecast prices. Tens, Duressa 60. I think that's about fair, though. I do think that Perfect Your Craft has the more improvement still to come. Perfect Your Craft is probably going to be my selection there at the Curragh. So there's a few that I like at the Curragh. I will look at some of the other races as well, and they will probably go out in an email format to our Premium and Pro members. But this just gives you an idea of what we've changed on RTR, how we go about finding selections, using the ratings, and hopefully we can have a few winners.